I looked away from the corpse. 5 things I could see. The stream, green glass water. A nearby rock, white and black like a tuxedo penguin. That pine tree, whispering to itself in the breeze. The mountains, the sun dancing on the water. 4 I could touch, 3 I could hear. 2 things I could smell. Him. You didn't get used to the smell of the freshly dead. I muscled past it, forced myself to think. Him, yes, and the warm, pine-scented air rushing through the valley. The dry dirt of the trail, rising like smoke beneath my boots. Finally, I could taste bitter adrenaline on my tongue, a result of my heart slamming a sledgehammer against my ribs. Fear prickling my skin, fear of the nightmares returning, of the screaming deep in the pits of my mind. I'd only just started sleeping through the night a few years ago. Breathe. I relaxed, degree by degree. The grounding lessons with Dr. K still worked. I took a deep breath, then another. I was okay. A dead body was unusual, but it wouldn't hurt me. The panic eased. I'm sorry. The only thing I could think to say, and it came out pitifully empty, hollow. Could be some ID tucked into a pocket somewhere, but I sure as shit wasn't going to reach in there and roll him over for it. What skin I could see was stretched, turgid. It looked like it would burst at the slightest touch. If I'd see his skin split open and ooze whatever liquid lingered inside, I would lose my lunch. My toes tingled, the muscles in my calves twitched with the urge to turn and run as fast and as far as I could. The familiar abyss gaped open in front of me, but I stepped over it, smothered the memories before they could rise out of that darkness. Some things you left in the past. Bodies didn't have any power over you once they were dead. Some lessons you only need to learn once. I made a note of where I was so I could leave word with the next ranger's station. I was pretty sure I'd passed Image Lake a few hours ago. I had to go off my gut and the blurry picture I'd snapped last minute of a map hanging in the ranger station at the locks. I negotiated my way back up the slope toward the trail, hunched forward so my backpack didn't drag me back into the same fate as what's-his-face. Another 4 hours of sweat-slicked hiking waited for me. Now, though, the trail changed. Now the whispering pine trees were voices, floating soft on the breeze. Faces hid in the deep-cut channels, cutting into their bark, watching me. The prickling sensation stayed, tickling the small hairs on the back of my neck. Someone was watching me. I spun, as if I could catch them, only to see the trail. Empty, just me. Every time I turned back, walked on, told myself I was being silly. I resettled my senses with the 5-to-1 grounding exercise Dr. K taught me all those years ago. But the trees still whispered, and the faces still watched. Just me and the voices in my head. I appreciated the shade offered by the towering trees. I was what my dad affectionately referred to as Irish pale, and the travel-sized bottle of sunscreen I'd begun with ran out 4 days ago. Currently, I was in the burn and blister part of building up a natural tan. Not a cloud in the sky for miles. Great news if you were taking the boat out on Lake Union or sipping cocktails on a Seattle rooftop. Bad news if you were Josh Mallory, trudging pink as a lobster through the spine of the Cascades. The Washington section of the Pacific Crest Trail was a bitch of a thru-hike. Towering volcanoes, plunging valleys, 100+ miles of hiking glory, and I needed every second of it. When I crawled up the side of a mountain, struggling for each breath and concentrating on keeping my legs from collapsing, I couldn't picture Deb standing in the kitchen, looking like someone sucked all the wind out of her lungs. I couldn't think about the cardboard box crumpled in the bottom of the trash can. I couldn't think about what waited for me when I'd finally emerge from the mountains. Shit happens, right? That's what this trip was all about.